Um, you know what? I actually thought of something. I don't think it's the dad jokes because a lot of times I'll groan like you should on a dad joke or on a bad joke. I'll just groan. I think what's happening is that the jokes are happening when I'm already irritated with the game. Because I started trying to think back. I was like, you know what? There's been times where people, everyone's gotten into a big, doing a bunch of bad jokes back to back to back to back to back. And I just sat there and groaned and laughed at it and moved on. But lately, the games are irritating the crap out of me. And I think that's what's triggering it. Hey, Luca. So I think that has more to do with it than the dad jokes. Is I'm irritated with the indie horror scene right now. And which is why I pretty much have already made up my mind. I'm just giving myself some days to think about it. Just to make sure, because what I'm planning on doing is going to kill my numbers, kill the money, and probably is going to kill me full-time streaming. But I can't. But the indie horror scenes just drive me insane. I'm tired of hearing excuses. I'm tired of hearing false, promises over and over and over. And yeah, it was like I was fine when we had regular updates. Getting a major update every 2 months. Nah, wasn't too bad. I mean, it kind of sucked, but it was okay. But now, I mean, Faz is on a 6-month break as far as major content goes. Demonologist is putting out. I mean, they're putting out new stuff, but they're not fixing their game. So yeah. I think it's time that I don't know. I'm having fun playing games that are not indie. But and honestly, I'm kind of I like horror movies. Actually, I love horror movies. Horror games on the other hand, I'm not. I don't know. I'm finding out that I'm not that big into horror games because usually the jump scares are cheap. Some have been good, but they're $50 for 6 hours of playability, and that to me, and honestly, I was reading an article about gaming, about games. Actually, no, it was a YouTube video of people are getting tired of playing games that are costing $60-$70, and there's only 9 hours of playability in them. And I'm like, and yeah, that's one of the things with the horror thing is, Faz was okay, Demonologist, the ghost hunting thing, DVD. Have all been okay because you're going to get if you like the game, you're going to get lots of playability. But games like Visage or Resident Evil, things like that, they're like, yeah, here, pay $60-$70 for this game. Oh yeah, there's only 9 hours of content in this, and you're like, what the hell? Like you're charging me more for this game per hour than me going to the movie theater, by a long shot, actually. I think that's one of the reasons why I played MMOs for so long. It's like, every 2 years I have to, shell out, $60-$70, but I'm going to get hundreds of hours out of that. Even with the sub, I easily make back the money off the sub by playability. Yeah, and they charge you for DLC, so, but, And I mean, like MMOs, okay, you pay for the expansion, you don't pay for any of the patches, and usually most, like, okay, let's take Warcraft for instance. Well, not classic, but retail. Now, granted, some of that has not been good, but you're paying for the expansion. But usually there's 3 major patch updates. But every one of those patch updates also usually has a 0.5 to them. So you get like, okay, so Dragonflight right now is basically expansion number 10. So you had a 10.05, you had a 10.1, which just came out. They've already told you what a 10.15 is going to be, or what they're working on for 10.15. Then you'll have probably a 10.2, then a 10.25, and you might get a 10.3, you might not. But all of those are they're not patch, they're not, fixes. They're new content, and you're not paying for it. So really, if you think about the patch updates that come out, 0.5, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, about every expansion has about 5 content patches. So you've got the expansion plus your 5 update patches or content updates. So that's 6. And you might have 7 if you're lucky. So now your $70 game, you got 7 things. So basically it's $10 per whatever. Plus, yeah, you got to pay for the sub. But if you're like me, you're easily making that up. I mean, I easily play WoW more than 15 hours a month, easily. Hell, I usually play WoW more than, God. I mean, right now I'm streaming, but even if I wasn't streaming, I would probably be playing probably 20, 25 hours a week, depending on what the wife wants to do. But a lot of times she's playing Final Fantasy, or she's watching some like CSI or something like that, which she's watching on her PC, so I'm playing a game. And then usually we'll stop like around 9 o'clock and we'll go watch something together. So yeah, so I'm usually playing three hours maybe at night. I'm not right now because usually I'm streaming. But so usually I'm like watching like YouTube or something afterwards. But yeah, so easily make back the money. Yeah, so but you're getting content, not just, bug fixes. I mean, they do bug fixes just on their own. They're not part of a update patch. Bug fixes are bug fixes. And those they usually put out, boom, they take the servers down, they apply it, and boom, the servers are back up. So I think that's part of my problem, is that's what I'm used to. I mean, the last 2.5 years have been nice. I mean, it's been nice doing something new. Faz kept my attention. Faz kept my attention for a long time. But I mean, I think anyone that's been watching the channel could probably easily say over the last maybe year, I'd started. I know I've been getting a little ornery, especially when it came to bug fixes that you're kind of like, this game's been out for 2 years. These bugs have been in this game for 2 years. You keep saying that they're fixed, and then they're not. Like, I mean, honestly, how many times was Haunt 2 broke? They'd fix it, it'd be good for about a day, and then 2 days after, it's broke again. Now, granted, I think right now Haunt 2 is pretty much fixed. But I mean, it is an indie game thing. But I think I'm finally getting to the point I was like, you know what? I'm done with it. So, but like I said, I'm leaving it as is for at least probably the rest of the week. I mean, I might pull the plug earlier before that, but right now we're going to keep playing some Faz, and then play WoW. But there's a very good chance that I might just go, I'm done. I mean, the thing that's starting me with Faz right now is we're spinning our wheels. This whole reset should have been done 6 months ago. I mean, it's not because they didn't have to add anything. They could have easily just said, "Okay, we're resetting." The whole badge thing. I mean, oh, this is going to sound bad, but I don't give a shit. I mean, honestly, my personal feelings, my own opinion, is the reason why the badges stopped at 15K instead of 20K is because Insum had just got to 15K and he's not playing their game that much, so he's not going to get the 20K. So they're not. So, and since CJ and them like to play with Insum all the time, that's why it stopped. Probably not going to. People not going to like that opinion, but yeah. But I think that's why, because they were talking about 20K way back when they first started talking about the badges, they were talking about 20K. But yeah, all of a sudden, oh, it's 15K. Okay. Let's see how this. I think that's my other thing with indie, is with AAA games, they don't cater to anybody. Hell, in some ways, they go out of their way to piss off content creators. So, but with indie games, the devs definitely, they give out information that the rest of the folks, that the rest of the content creators do not get to their special few, and I think that's I think it's bullshit, but I also understand it. If you understand what I'm saying, because no, the big content creators, they're going to get your game out there, they're going to give you exposure, all that kind of good stuff. Except that half the time, those big content creators aren't playing your game; they're playing some other game, and they might play your game maybe once every 2 weeks. So, and there's other content creators you've got that are, official content creators that are busting their balls, making YouTube videos for you, making, streaming your game all the freaking time. And yet you're not giving them any special information that could actually help them out of, basically, think of the old newspaper scoops. Or like TMZ scoops or whatever you want, or whatever the hell you want to do. But you're not giving it to them because they're not big enough. And that's bullshit. They're the ones, busting their ass trying to keep, are they bigger than some of these guys? No. But their YouTube channels are not half bad. But yet you're giving the special info to guys who are barely playing your game. So, half the time, the only reason why they're playing your game is because you're going to come on their stream and tell them and give them some special info. But the thing is, I don't mind. I guess it's one of the things I don't mind about AAA is I know. No, they give interviews to people off and on, but they tend to give interviews to people who deserve the interviews. The guys who are, doing a bunch of, good work. And half the time, not all the time are they singing the praises of the game. I mean, hell, for anyone that watches WoW, you might know Preach Game. Preach has been very honest on stuff that he doesn't, and he used to test for the game a lot. And I mean, ever since Draenor, I mean, he was one of the guys that kept on saying, this system is not going to work. Here are the numbers. Here's what the Raiders... Now, granted, Raiders are about 1 or 2% of the player base. But everything that the Raiders have said, this system is not going to work, has affected everybody in the game. I don't raid. I don't even do M+ anymore. And yet, I saw what they were saying, I saw affecting the game. It's definitely trickles down. All the Azerite armor, oh god, what did Legion have? Battle for Azeroth had something with an A. Legion had another armor set that began with an A, or armor power-ups. and all the testers were like, "This is not going to work." Blizzard didn't listen to them. Dragonflight's the first time that they've finally started listening to the testers again, which is why Dragonflight like 10.1 just came out. 10.1 didn't have a bunch of bug fixes. The last Legion, actually Draenor, Legion, Battle for Azeroth, Shadowlands, 10.1 wasn't to really add anything new to the game. It did, but it wasn't as much as it could have been. It was usually fixing the whatever new armor thing they came out with that they realized was screwed up and wasn't going to work. That the testers told them it wasn't going to work. Dragonflight's the first one where it was like, oh wait, no, we listened to the testers before the game came out. We don't have to fix anything. Everything in 10.1 is mostly new content that's been pretty cool. So yeah. So I mean, no, you can't listen to the testers all the time, but if they're telling you a system is broke, you might want to take a look at it. So, but yeah, I think it's probably time for a change. Like I said, I'm going to take at least a couple more days, at least another day or two, and just make sure that this is what I want to do. Because the problem is, I still do like Faz. So what I might end up doing is just playing Faz for a little bit, and then changing over. But with the content drought, but even Faz, I mean, I get about an hour and a half into Faz, and it's like, okay, I'm kind of irritated with it now. I kind of need to go. Over new Diablo 3 seasons now that the biggest content creators have stopped telling them to balance for the players who play 12 hours per day. Yeah, that's the bad side of listening to the content creators. And they don't need to listen to the content creators. They need to listen to the testers saying, "Hey, this doesn't work." Content creators, fuck the content. Okay, yes, I'm going to curse. Fuck the content creators. I mean, yes, I know I'm one of them, but no, we're a small percentage of who plays the game. The game needs to be playable for everybody, not just playable for people trying to make content for it. So, I've been noticing the last 2 weeks I've been cursing more. But yeah, no, it's like, I mean, it's like in the beginning of Faz. I mean, 2 years ago? I mean, I always said, do not make this, I mean, it's like, no, I'm very thankful that Faz is a game that I can solo. Just like Demonologist, I can solo. But like Ghost Exorcism is not a game for solo. You can solo a few of the houses, but most of the game, you really do need a group. And that's how they, and I don't knock the game for that. It's just, and I recommend the game. I think the game's a cool game. But I recommend it if you have a group. If you want to solo it, you've got about 4 or 5 houses that you can solo in Ghost Exorcism. And then the rest of the houses are just too damn big. Did I ever take a jab? What do you mean a jab? Ever play it? I played Forewarned for a lot. It's just every time I did, no one watched. So I stopped playing it. Hey Tarzan. I don't know what it is about Forewarned, but people do not like watching it. I don't know if it's just a little too different, which is weird because all it is replace Ghost with Mummy and cool buildings. I mean, Forewarned, and honestly, Forewarned was way more fine-tuned than any game that has come out since Faz. I mean, when Forewarned came out, Forewarned was pretty much a done game. They didn't have a lot of problems. I'm loving the updates they keep doing that keep adding on to that, but they really didn't have any problems. Yes, that's the Tomb Running one. But for some reason, people just don't like watching it. It's really weird. Because no, I think it out of every game that we have, as far as ghost hunting goes, or let's say paranormal. We'll go paranormal. It's probably the most fine-tuned game out there. But even me, I played the game for about an hour, even though the maps change every game, really the texture is getting better, but really about an hour and a half, and I start getting bored. Which is kind of weird with it. I mean, even if I play it off stream, about an hour or so of it, and I'm kind of like, okay, I'm kind of done. So there's something about the game that it's hard to keep people's attention with it. And honestly, Tarjan, that might be a thing. That might be a reason. Because there was a lot going on, though you weren't in the journal a lot. I mean, you'd hear something, you'd see something that was jars breaking, ghost speaking, things like that, and it was pop in a journal, put down your evidence, get out of the journal. So you weren't stuck in the journal looking at reading a bunch like some of the other ghost hunting games, which is why I don't play them a lot. Okay, you think maybe you're experiencing streamer burnout a little? The thing is, though, I change over to WoW. I mean, those that have stuck around and watched me when I'm playing hardcore, watch my attitude go from I'm pissed off, I'm annoyed at whatever ghost hunting game I'm playing, to I'm having a blast and I'm enjoying streaming and I'm enjoying playing. So I don't think it's burnout. So it's just I'm done with playing games that I don't know if they'll ever be fixed. I think that's what I'm kind of running into. I think it comes with the indie. I think it comes with the indie thing. No, I mean, a lot of these guys are just learning how to make games, which all the power to them. But I don't think I think part of it's the engine. That it's not that they don't know how to fix the game, is that the engine that they are using isn't capable of that fix. Oh yeah, I mean that's one reason why I'm doing the podcast. New podcast should come out tomorrow. I've got a couple of ideas on the podcast for tomorrow, but yeah, there'll be a podcast out tomorrow. Right now, the podcast is going to be on Wednesdays. I might add in another day or two, but right now it's sticking to Wednesdays. Though this is technically podcast. I mean, hell, I could pull this and let this be the podcast for tomorrow. But yeah, I think that's part of it. Is it's not that they don't want to fix the game. It's not that they don't know how to fix the game. It's the Unity engine. You can't do it. They ran into the limitations of the Unity engine. I think what's going on with Demonologist right now is, yes, they used Unreal 5. They don't know how to fix Unreal 5. It's like, no, Unreal 5 can do this because we've all seen Unreal 5. Now, granted, Unreal 5 has its own issues because it is a new engine. Unreal 5 doesn't know how to fix half their issues. That's one of the problems with using a brand new, not brand new, but a newer engine, is they're still kicking Unreal 5 around as far as what can and can't be fixed. And I mean, what's going on with it. So, yeah, I got kicked out because I was sitting at the screen too much. So that's part of the problem, I think, with Unreal 5 is it's a new engine. People haven't used, there's not a whole lot of games out there using Unreal 5. So they don't know how to fix it. So there's not a big database out there for people who are making games with Unreal 5 of being able to ask, hey, I'm having this issue. Does anyone know how to fix this? Because there's not a whole lot of games out there, especially indie games. I mean, there's really not a whole lot of indie games that have used Unreal 5. And AAA companies aren't going to tell you how to fix it. That's corporation secrets. So you're going to rely on indie guys, and there's not a lot of games out there using Unreal 5. So you're going to hear crickets when you run into things. Because I mean, that's the only thing I can think of for Demonologist, for the issues that Demonologist has, is no one knows how to fix them. That it's probably something to do with Unreal 5, and just no one has ran into it because no, this is it's a different type of game. No one has made this type of game in Unreal 5, so no one knows how to fix it. So it's going to be up to them to figure it out. Someone's got to break the ice with it. I mean, I know Worka. I mean, honestly, this is why Worka's game was supposed to, The Hauntings was supposed to come out, what, a year, end of October. So let's go November, December, January, February, March, April. A year and a half ago. Really, I think a year and 7 months. Worka's game was supposed to come out. But he's not releasing it until he thinks it's ready. And I think part of that is probably the Unreal Engine 5, is that he's running into issues off and on. And he's like, okay, I have to figure out how to put this out. How to fix this. And he doesn't want to put an early access game out and run into... it's called The Hauntings. So that's the whole reason why, his game was supposed to come out early access a year and a half ago. And he's made the decision of, no, it's not ready. And I think part of the reason why it's not ready is he is having to figure out how to troubleshoot stuff that no one knows, because no one's made this kind of game in Unreal 5. So, and then he also keeps adding in different elements to the game. So that's another reason why. because the game is definitely sort of different. I mean, even though we've not seen it, it's not in early access or anything, but the game, from what we were told 2 years ago, what the game was going to be like, is not what the game is like now. If you watch his streams. So I think that's also going on, is he keeps on running into things going, ooh, I think we're going to add that to the game. It's like, it's not out early access. I can add this now. Let me I think I've got everyone's stuff. But yeah. So are you going to see me probably going more MMO, Blizzard? Not just Blizzard games, though I probably might play a lot of Blizzard games. But more MMO. Oh yeah, by the way, speaking of MMOs, did you guys hear that Amazon announced yesterday that they're basically reviving their Lord of the Rings game? They were planning on making it. They were working on making it. They canceled it in 2021. Then they came out with New World. And then yesterday they came out and said, yeah, we're going to, we picked this back up. We got rid of the guys who we were working with, but they were working with some other company to make it. There were some differences of opinion on that. I think they wanted to go kind of weird with it, and Amazon was like, no. We want to go The Hobbit, Fellowship of the Ring. This is our time period. The other company was wanting to go basically Second Age, and with the game. But no, it's not Lord of the Rings Online. They still got their own thing. This is a totally different game. Yeah, Lord of the Rings Online is supposed to have a graphics update sometime this year. But yeah, and the interview they were doing yesterday, they fully admit that it's like, yeah, New World, we came out with New World, we didn't know what the hell we were doing. We've learned our mistakes from New World, which was New World, we put New World out, here's your content. Not knowing that really, if you come out with an MMO, here's your content, and content for the next 2 to 3 years also needs to be there. Um, bruh, hey, how you doing? Actually, I thought you had joined in before. Bruh, Fid. I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but hi. So, but yeah. So they're talking the right talk, because yeah, that was one of the problems of New World. Is New World came out, and you ran into, where's the rest of the content? So yeah, so that was one of the things they made the comment of New World, was like, yeah, we released New World with the content for the game, not realizing that with an MMO, you really need to release an MMO with 2 to 3 years of content, not just your starting content. So yeah, so we'll see. I mean, it's got to be an early talk, so I doubt seriously that this game will be out within 3 to 5 years. I mean, the new way to do things is put it as, you know, from start to finish 3 years. It used to be 5, which is why a bunch of MMOs have come out that have not been finished, and the first few patches or whatever are fixing the damn thing. So, but that all started with Star Wars Galaxies. When that game came out, they were running into money issues, and Sony Online came in and went, "Hey, we'll help you," and screwed it all up. What's funny is I was watching a video yesterday on someone that basically was playing Classic Hardcore using ChatGPT and letting it build a basically leveling guide. leveling guide / talent guide. And it actually wasn't too bad. It got the beginning levels a little backwards. I think it sent him to the Barrens a little too early. But it wasn't that far off. And the talent tree wasn't too bad. I think he was playing a warrior. And what it told him for the first 5 points was kind of like, okay, you can go that route. It's not, I wouldn't call it optimal, but it's doable. What else we got? But no, we'll definitely be playing like other Blizz type games. But no, we'll definitely be playing other MMOs. Like, I will definitely take, like, one of my videos I want to do, or even maybe, I don't know if I'll do it as a podcast or not, but talk about Lord of the Rings Online, on whether you should play it or not. Probably should you play Lord of the Rings Online 2023? Because it's an old game, it looks old. The graphics update will definitely help. They need to do some other stuff that needs to help it. But who does that now? Does it Standing Stone or Daybreak with Lord of the Rings Online now? But if you're a Lord of the Rings fan, definitely freaking play it. I mean, it's the only reason why I play the game off and on. It's not because of the combat. The combat is old and clunky. It's so I can walk around. They've done a fantastic job of taking the books and making it look like the books. I mean, I can sit there for days just walking around the Shire. I love freaking walking around the Shire. I mean, getting to Moria was honestly, getting to Moria was my main task when I restarted Lord of the Rings Online. Was I wanted to just be able to level up high enough where I could go back to Moria and just explore. I still want to see that Minecraft. I'll be able to get into Minecraft. I don't know if you can get into the world or what, but there was a group. It took them, I think, 8 years, but they basically made Middle Earth in Minecraft. And I watched like a video of Moria, and Moria was freaking fantastic. But the rest was really nice too. But I mean, they did that. I usually play hobbits. Hobbits are dwarves. Yes, I mean the Hobbit quests in Lord of the Rings Online are the some of the best fracking quests the in any MMO I've ever played. Between running pies to different running pies to different people, retrieving pies that were made with a bad batch of berries, and retrieving those or bringing them back to the person during Beer Fest or whatever they call it. Of basically running to all these inns and taverns, and basically drinking yourself drunk to where you can't see, and then having a certain time limit to get to the next tavern while you're drunk. Yes, yeah, the In League quest. I mean, I freaking love that quest. But I mean, it's the Shire's quest or some. I mean, I've played every other race, and they're all like, it's serious Lord of the Rings type stuff. Where the the Hobbit's quests are, go get this pie, go get drunk at an inn, and then have to go to the next inn in a certain amount of time. They're all go collect some pumpkins. One was like something about chickens. Avoiding the Mel runs. Yeah, there's a freaking quest in the game of taking Mel from one village to the next village, and you have to avoid the noisy hobbits or nosy hobbits in between the towns that want to read your Mel. And if they catch you, you have to go restart. That's one reason just to play freaking Lord of the Rings Online. Is just don't go anywhere else. Make yourself a freaking hobbit. Explore. I think most of the quests for Hobbit for the Shire is like level 1 to 10 or 12 or something like that. Do those quests, and then if you step and walk away, you're going to be going, you know what? I had a blast here. And then maybe every other year, load it back up, play for free, and go do the Shire quest again. But it's like one thing I keep hoping for with WoW is Classic Plus, if they ever come out with Classic Plus. I mean, right now it's a pipe dream. But one of the things I like about Classic over retail is Classic was when Blizzard did not take themselves seriously. They had silly quests. They had goblin engineering, where you could possibly kill yourself because your rocket boots shot you up in the air and brought you back down and killed you. Or gnome engineering, it's like, ooh, I can I can teleport from city to city. Oh crap, it screwed up. After Classic, I mean, even Burning Crusade stopped. They stopped having all the cool funny stuff. They kind of came back with it in Cataclysm in the Goblin Town. Goblin Town had a bunch of cool little quests and did not take themselves seriously whatsoever. But then as soon as you left Goblin Town, it went back to serious WoW. But I would like to see them maybe do Classic Plus and keep the seriousness out of it. It's like, make it fun. The game should be funny and fun and not so serious. Yes. Oh no, true. No. You're right. No, Pandaria did add a lot of fun to the game. I totally forgot about Pandaria. My thing was I took a break during Pandaria, so I didn't come back to the game until towards the end of Pandaria when Draenor was about to come back, when Draenor was about to come out. So I came back to WoW to level up, and so I could start Pandaria when it came out. But I've gone back to Pandaria just to run some quests, higher level. And some of the dungeons in Pandaria are just funny as hell. I mean, once again, Pandaria brew. The whole point of the Brewmaster Monk is Basically, it's drunken master fighting. It's Kung Fu Drunken Master. um, so every once in a while they'll like rethink about it and they'll add some stuff, but then they get back into the serious thing where everything's just got to be serious. The thing is, I mean, anyone that knew anything about Warcraft knew that pandas were real. I mean, the Pandarans were real. I mean, all the guys that I thought were getting butthurt about it were guys who never played Warcraft. I mean, Pandarans were a thing. Like, this is not, we're just making this shit up. It's no, they've been in the game for freaking ever. But no, there's a bunch. I didn't play Pandaria because I just needed a break. And I severely regret that decision. I mean, I went and played Star Wars Old Republic, and then I played Guild Wars 2 before. Then I stopped playing Guild Wars 2 when Draenor was maybe about 3 months away, I think, is when I came back. And playing through it, I'm like, oh, this is one. Pandaria is fracking gorgeous. The quests were actually were cool, and they had some fun elements to them. Once again, they weren't taking themselves so seriously, and even the serious parts had an element of fun in them. So, but yeah, Lifetime Star Trek. My best friend's wife, I believe, has a Lifetime Lord of the Rings Online and a Lifetime Star Trek Online. And she stopped playing both those games within like 2 months. Yeah. So, I mean, hell, we were talking about this a couple of months ago. We were talking about the fact of the April Fool's jokes that Blizzard used to do. Because I mean, I think they still do them, but they're usually lame. But I mean, remember the first I think the first April Fool's joke they did was the Pandaren Express. Now, granted, that was a direct, basically, what's the word I'm looking for? Spoof on what Quest was doing a thing with Pizza Hut, I think. One of the MMOs out there basically had a deal with Pizza Hut, or was it Pizza Hut? I can't remember which one it was. But yeah, where basically you could order food. You could order pizza online. So they did the April Fool's joke of the Pandaren Express. If I ever got a Lifetime, I'd wish it was Final Fantasy XIV. Final Fantasy XIV is the one game that I wish I could get into. For some reason, I can't. I enjoy watching my wife. I think it's because of all the cutscenes, the MSQ. Just every time the cutscenes just take me out of the game, and I'd rather be playing the game than watching a cutscene. But the whole fact that I know this expansion is the last, and they're basically revamping after that. I think I can't remember what they've said, but basically, the world ends somehow, and the next is going to be a restart. And I find that very cool. So I wish I could get into the game, but I find that concept very cool. This game's been out for since 2012, I think. And no, after this expansion, it's restarting. So it's a very, very cool concept that honestly takes balls to do. I was kind of surprised when I heard about it. I'm like, holy shit. Because, I mean, Blizzard should do it. I mean, there's not many... But the thing is, I think Blizzard's actually working towards it. Not this expansion, or maybe not the next expansion, but the story is kind of veering towards something catastrophic happening, and not Cataclysm type, like in world rebuilding type. Yeah. So it's very, yeah, so it's a very cool thing that Final Fantasy 14 is doing.